I much prefer band face pulls over the cable version. In this video, I'll explain exactly why so that you too can maximize your results. So starting with an obvious point, what we do the exercise for? Well, it's building the rear and side delts, rotator cuff stabilization, and a little bit of upper back. But the main thing is the injury prevention benefits. And this is precisely why many of the best strength coaches recommend doing them on a frequent basis, or even within the workout itself that's not dedicated to shoulders. So you can be running a body part split that has you including band face pulls at the end. The thing is, we're not hurting our recovery. In fact, it's active recovery. You feel better after doing this. So if you plan on benching for a long time, really getting the best overhead press of what you're capable of, while not feeling snapped up at all, face pulls are what you should be doing. So if we're gonna be doing this exercise every day, or every other day, or as frequently as possible, what's the most feasible way to do that? With bands. You probably don't have a cable station. I don't even have one. I probably will get one, but it's yet to be added to my collection. And you see this home gym right here. So it makes sense that the average individual can buy a pair of bands, store them in the closet or a school bag or a drawer, and then whenever you want to do the exercise, you put on top, pull the bar, get to work. Or better yet, just going outside. There's always something that you can attach them to, which means they're versatile. This exercise can be done anywhere without restrictions. And let me tell you, you're not gonna drive to the gym just to do a few sets of band face pulls. Unless you're already going in there for cardio, then you're all good. But if not, you're doing a full body 3 times a week, or twice a week, or just an upper lower, how are you gonna get 7 days a week face pulls if you plan on doing that? You can't, unless bands are your best friend. And that's why I recommend them, for the feasibility aspect. Above all else, it's about being consistent and putting the work in. So that's a very basic point. Allow me to explain the crazy benefits now. The band face pull maximizes peak tension through the fact that as you go through the exercise, the band lengthens, meaning you can have 80 pounds over here, 100 plus over there. And that makes all the difference because we have an exercise, one of the few, that really allows us to squeeze the rear delts, the side delts, and if you're doing a certain range of motion, you can hit the upper back quite nicely as well. So in terms of mind muscle connection, this can't be beat. The cable version, obviously you'll feel it a lot, but the contraction is not the same. It's very consistent. Whereas bands do have tension throughout the whole lift, but more so at the peak. And this is great for isolation movements. It's the same reason why I'd recommend doing band or cable chest flies as opposed to dumbbell flies. The best part of face pulls is that cramping sensation, the pumps you get from it, really the end range of motion. So in my view, that absolutely makes it superior given what we're doing the movement for. And all you gotta do is a side-by-side comparison. Go in the gym, hit one set of cable face pulls, one set of band face pulls. Tell me honestly which one you feel more in the delts. Gotta factor in that resistance profile. It applies to many different exercises, and face pulls are no exception. And with that said, that'll bring me on to my next point. What you can do with the exercise itself. Spreading the band apart. This adds in a lateral factor that kind of mimics a pull apart. So I would argue that you'll get better side delt activation. With a face pull, you're limited to the cable attachments, or if you want to really open up a little bit more, you gotta double rope it. And in that case, someone might be using the second rope, or you don't want to set it up, or it just might not feel the same way. Band face pulls, you get over here, you can open up as much as you want. 100% custom. So you can really fit the exercise for your anthropometry and hit the muscles a little bit different. It's not just a straight pull. It's straight and then coming out. And that has profound injury prevention benefits. It's just better for the rotator cuffs and the side delts. And that'll bring me on to the fourth point, which ties everything together. The overspeed eccentrics. Remember I talked about before, when you go through the range of motion, it's heavier at the top. There's peak tension, right? That's because the bands are lengthening. Well, what happens when we bring them back to the normal size? They pull you down hard. That's what I mean by overspeed eccentrics. You're going down faster than, let's say, free weight. There's an extra force, that snapping sensation. And if you do the exercise very quickly, that's when you'll really get the benefits of developing the connective tissue, which is what we're trying to hypertrophy for maximum injury prevention. This is why if you do tricep pushdowns for high repetitions using the same strategy, it helps in rejuvenating the elbow region. We're hitting another level here. So already the face pull is amazing at keeping everything stable and strong, and it's an exercise that you can't go wrong with. Then you throw on the overspeed eccentrics, bro, this is like an injury prevention 101 lift. Like everyone should be doing this. And the thing is, let's say you don't want to go down quickly. Guess what? The bands are still pulling you down hard, which means we kind of have like an overloaded eccentric. Not really, but it's similar in the sense that you got to struggle that negative, which can also be great for bodybuilding. You're doing time detention type training, guess what? Amazing contraction at the top, fantastic eccentric. What more do you want? Like literally, can you think of another exercise that hits all these areas, which also has these injury prevention effects? I don't think you find one like band face pulls. So with that out the way, let's talk about one final feature, which again is amazing. The customization that the band version gives you. With a cable, there's numbers and there's attachments. That's all you get. With the bands, you can double them, which gives you a totally different movement resistance-wise. Like you can have varying tensions throughout the range of motion. Obviously still heavier at the top, but the middle and the bottom can be totally different. You can step further back and actually rocking back and forth. So on the way down, you can go here, and on the way up, boom, open up. Similar to doing the push down with the rocking motion. If you're singling the band, you can widen the base a little bit. This way you get a little bit more bottom tension, and it might feel more even, kind of similar to a cable exercise. And then there's the mixing of all these bands. So imagine trying everything that I just talked about, plus switching up the tension. So you got a single mini band and a double monster, or a singled light and a singled micro mini band. Like there are endless possibilities. And the thing is, there's nothing that we can't do with the band version. If you want, buy the cable attachments and clip it onto the band. You can still double rope it. You can still use a straight bar. There's nothing that is restricting you. The only difference is we're using bands as resistance, not a cable station. But the customization is endless. And there's much more that you could do with this than pretty much any other version of the face pull. And if you're familiar with my work, you'll know that I'm a huge believer of exercise variety. It's great for keeping things fresh, and it prevents overuse, which is an advantage that is hugely overlooked. Let's not even talk about progressive overload. Let's not talk about progression. Let's shift it to the long-term direction. Training for 10, 20 years. Exercise variety is the key. Straight up, minimalism can off. I'm serious. I talk so much against it because I know that's not the best way to go long-term. Variety is the secret. And with band face pulls, you get all the benefits that I discussed with a little bit extra. This is really bang for your buck. Can I say that it's the king of isolation movements for the delts in general? I'd say so. I don't think side raises can match this. Rear delt flies can't match this. As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing that can match this. It really is number one in my books, and that's why I've been recommending it for all these years. So start experimenting with this exercise. You're gonna love it. Find out which form works for you. There's no rule set in stone. Just enjoy it for what it is. And let me know how your body transforms over time when you start incorporating this into your routine. Let's hear it. I'll talk in the next video.